Very good evening to all of you. First, we complete the balance part, Rule 86A and Rule 86B. Then we'll come to the question, whichever is being asked in the chat. Then we will do the revision by using the practical problem or some certain of MCQ. That would be the agenda. So, Ishant, Priyakant, some participant has asked the question. Kindly wait for some time. We will definitely take up all the question. Okay. So, what is the Rule 86 capital A restriction on utilizing the ITC? It simply says that officer not below the rank of assistant commissioner authorized by him is empowered to impose the restriction on utilization of ITC. Which ITC? Which is available in the electronic credit ledger. The important point which should be there in your answer, reason to believe, the word reason to believe not below the rank of the assistant commissioner, these word has to come if the question directly or indirectly is being on the Rule 86A. Commissioner or an officer not below the rank of assistant commissioner is authorized to impose the restriction on utilization of ITC. Then two words, if it is fraudulently availed or if it is ineligible, meaning thereby whether ineligible ITC can also be restricted under Rule 86 capital A, answer is yes. What are the circumstances in which restriction can be imposed? ITC has been availed on the basis of the tax invoice or the valid document issued by the non-existent supplier or by a person not conducting any business from the registered place of the business. So either supplier is not in existence or whatever the place he has disclosed, he is not doing the business from that place. Without receipt of goods or services. Obviously, we know that this is the one of the condition of 16.2, that we cannot take the ITC without the receipt of the goods. This is also one of the condition. If the tax is not paid to the government, then recipient cannot take the ITC. If the tax is not paid to the government by the supplier, then ITC cannot be availed by the recipient. Then registered person availing the ITC has been found non-existence or not conducting the business from the registered place of the business. So it means, now please note that they have imposed the same condition for supplier and the same condition for recipient. Registered person availing the ITC is not in possession of the tax invoice. So I can say this condition, and this condition is basically exist in the 16 subsection 2, without which the recipient cannot take the ITC. So these are the condition or restriction which can be imposed by the commissioner not below the rank of the assistant commissioner, either fraudulently or ineligible, if he has reason to believe. Further, they are saying the ITC so availed restriction can be imposed by not allowing such ITC to be used for discharging any liability under Section 49 or not allowing the refund of any unutilized amount of the such ITC. Such restriction can be imposed for a period of 1 year from the date of the such restriction. However, the commissioner or officer authorized by him can withdraw such restriction if they satisfy. Now we are moving to the rule 86B. 86B says that you can use maximum 99% ITC for the discharge of the payment of tax liability. 1% of the tax liability has to be paid in cash. 1% आपको कैश में पे करना ही होगा. कब? If you are covered by the rule 86B. However, there are certain proviso in the rule 86B in which we are not required to, or we are not covered by this 1% criteria. Let me start, and after this our chapter would be completed. We'll move to the question, answer, MCQ, multiple things we will do in the ITC chapter. Who can be the non-existent? Who can be the? Say, I have received the supply from Mr. A. I have purchased certain things from Mr. A, and the department found that Mr. A does not having the business at the declared place of the business, or he is not in existence, or he is not paying the taxes to the government. सुशील मैं अच्छा हूं. I hope all are good. अब हम एक बार 86B की बात करते हैं, जो ईशांत आपका एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन था. 86B, what is the 86B? I have clarified that if you are covered by the 86B, then you can use 99% ITC for discharging of the tax liability. 1% liability has to be paid in cash. 1% आपको कैश में पे करना ही होगा. What is the 86B? 86B says that if turnover exceed value of the taxable supply in a particular tax period, in a month, exceed 50 lakh. In this calculation of the 50 lakh, we will not consider exempt supply and we will not add zero rated supply. Other than exempted, other than zero rated, the total value of taxable supply if exceed 50 lakh, then 86B will be applicable on such taxpayer. There are certain exceptions or written in the proviso that in the below case, you are not required to pay the amount of 1% in cash. You can use 100% ITC. There is no restriction. Payment of income tax more than rupees 1 lakh. It means 86B will not apply if in the last 2 financial year, which financial year for which the limit to file the return has been expired. So time limit has been expired. So normal case it is July. So if the time period is expired for which any financial year, then in the 2 financial year, if the taxpayer has paid more than rupees 1 lakh as income tax, then in that case, the criteria of 1% rule 86B not applicable. Okay. So if it is a registered person, then he himself, or even Karta, proprietor, managing director, any of the 2 partner, full-time director, member of the managing committee of association, board of trustee, as the case may be. So you should remember these all names. Please remember these all names. And if a question is being asked, then you can put these names in the exception that when the 1% criteria will not be applicable. Now, the first exception is if the income tax is being paid more than rupees 1 lakh in 2 financial year. Which financial year? For which the time limit to file the return of income tax has been expired. Now, what is the second exception? Second exception is refund of ITC has been taken more than 1 lakh. So there are 2 categories of the transaction in which ITC ka refund is being permitted. This is not in your inter-syllabus. So just simply remember that section 54 subsection 3 says that if you are making the zero rated supply, or if it is an inverted duty structure, then if there is an accumulation of input tax credit, you are entitled to take the refund. And if you have taken the refund and amount is more than 1 lakh, again, this criteria of 86B or restriction of 86B would not be applicable. But in this case, we have taken the refund of ITC. Now the next case, the refund of, in next case is the, if you already made the payment more than 1% of total output tax liability. How? The total output tax liability, which is being paid through cash ledger in excess of 1%. Then also, say for example, in the last month, even though I am not covered by 86B, but there was a liability and there was no balance in input tax credit. So I have to discharge the liability in cash. So I have made the payment in cash without 86B. But in the current month, my turnover exceed 50 lakh rupees and I am covered by 86B. Then what is the case? If I have already discharged in accumulation, if I have already paid 1% liability, accumulated liability in cash, then in this particular tax period, it will not be applicable. Let's read. If registered person has paid more than 1% of the total output tax liability using ECL up to the said month in the current financial year, let's say I'm setting in the month of July. So April to July, total accumulated liability. And if you have already paid 1%, then in the July month, even though that turnover exceed, taxable supply exceed 50 lakh, but you are not required to be pay 1% in this current month if you have the sufficient balance. ठीक है? They have covered certain specified registered person would not be applicable on the government department, PSU, local authority, statutory body. Correct. However, commissioner or an officer authorized by him in this behalf may remove the said restriction that we have discussed. ठीक है. Fine. So these are the restrictions. So now we have completed our chapter, ITC chapter. I will move to my MCQ and my practical problem. Before that, I will tackle your question and answer. Kindly raise the question if you have, and then we will close all the question and then we'll move to the practical problem and solution. Today is entire revision of ITC chapter. Sir, if ITC is available in ECL, then it will be continue. You can carry forward. But for the current month in which 86B is applicable, you have to pay 1% in cash. So there is no lapse of ITC. ITC will be accumulated. It will be continued. There is no problem. Only 1% I have to pay in cash. So Priyakant, you have asked one detailed question. I will take up this question while solving the practical problem. Okay. Let me take the question is being asked by the Isant. 16 to BA. Sir, I have Isant, I will request that kindly watch the video. This is not yet notified. See, again, the rules are not yet notified. The section is notified. So it is not too much practical. Okay. So I would request, I have explained in detail, so I will not explain again because it's not again too much important. And also I think study material has also, ICA has also not given this particular clause BA as informed by the student. Second question, if the depreciation calculated before tax, then ITC not available now? ITC would be available now. If you are saying, let's say my taxable value is 1 lakh, tax is let's say 18,000, total invoice value 1,18,000. If I have capitalized and taking the depreciation on 1 lakh, then obviously ITC would be available, no problem. When the ITC would not be available if you are taking the depreciation on entire 1,18,000. Please confirm. Is it clear? Question number 2, which is being asked by you. Is it clear? Then I will move to the next question. Aisa, can you please explain ECL excess 1% payment? हाँ, I will explain. ठीक है. I will explain. Let me close one by one. I'll cover all the question. Just to be sure. आज हमारे पास सिर्फ discussion का है. The today class is only for the multiple question answer. I have also prepared. You can also ask. We'll do the entire discussion. Entire class would be on the revision of the ITC chapter. Very, very important. This is very important chapter. What is the 50% criteria for NBFC? See, because these company, whether banking company, financial institution, NBFC, they have the two options. Either they can go for, see, because they are providing the exempt supply and taxable supplies, they are providing the exempt and taxable supplies, right? Then they have to reverse the input tax credit, because we know in the GST section 17 subsection 2 we have discussed, if I have the outward taxable supplies and I have the outward exempted supplies, then I can take the ITC to the extent of taxable supplies. So normally the method which is being given in the rule 42-43, rule 42-43 is not in your syllabus, it is in the final. But you can say that something that is like in the ratios of the turnover. Okay. Now, in the banking company, financial institution, NBFC, they are also having the exempt and taxable supplies. So one option is they can go for the rule 42-43, which is slightly cumbersome. To give the to facilitate them, they have given the second option, that straightforward they can reverse 50% ITC. But in this calculation, if there is a distinct person ITC, it will not be reversed. You can take the full ITC. Apart from that, you have to reverse 50% ITC. एक बार confirm करें, is it okay? Is it clear? Isan. Question number 3, is it clear? So I can move to the, so your question complete, your point, your all question is done. Please confirm that whether this question is clear. The answer which is given by your point which you raised, I hope it is clear now. I'll discuss one by one. So next point is Aisa. Can you please explain the ECL excess 1% payment part again? Fine. Aisa, assume that I'm sitting in the month of July. Okay. When I'm calculating my total value of the taxable supply, if it is exceed 50 lakh rupees. So what is the conclusion? That in this month, even though I have the ITC, but I have to pay 1% in cash. That is clear. एक बार confirm करो. I will give the answer to your all question, but I will give in the part and parcel, bits and pieces. So meanwhile, every part you have to confirm me that yes, it is clear. So I can move to the next part. ये वाला part clear है? एक बार confirm करना है सर. मैं slow इसलिए जा रहा हूं ताकि सभी लोगों को समझ में आए. Even though question is of one participant, but it is understandable by all the participants. So that is the reason I'm basically bit in slow. I'm bit speed मैं नहीं ले रहा हूं, ठीक है? So now let's move to the second point. So what happened in the last month or in the last to last month, there was a liability below 50 lakh. There was a taxable value below 50 lakh. But I do not have the ITC in that month. So I have to pay the tax liability. I have to pay the tax liability, right? Which I have paid in cash. Correct? Is it because of 86B? No, it is not because of 86B. Because 86B would be applicable only when my turnover exceeds 50 lakh taxable value. But because I do not have the sufficient ITC in the month of, let's say, June, in the month of May, so I have paid the liability in cash because I have to pay the liability. Now, while calculating the July month, my value exceed 50 lakh. I have to pay 1%. But the one exception says, if I have already paid accumulated 1%, I will calculate the total value of taxable supply from April to July. Let's say it's 1 crore. I will calculate the total, exclude July, exclude July, total tax which I have paid in cash. Let's say 1%. एक मिनट मुझे एक बार दीजिए मुझे, मैं एक बार स्क्रीन शेयर करता हूं. I'll come to the whiteboard and then I will explain. So मैं रिपीट करता हूं वापस. From April to July, my total turnover is 1 crore. And I have paid some amount in April, I have paid some amount in May, I have paid some amount in June in cash. Let's say the total amount is 11 lakh rupees. Total amount is 1,10,000 rupees in cash. Assuming hypothetically, if it is more than 1% I have already discharged in cash, then I can say, even though in the month of the July, my turnover exceed 50 lakhs, but I do not require to pay 1% in cash. Please note, the 50 lakh is the value. 50 lakh is the value of taxable supplies, and 1% is not of the 50 lakh. 1% is the tax liability. 1% is the tax liability. Let's say 50 lakh ka rate, assume that 5% it is rate slab. Then 5% ka rate slab hai. So how much it comes? 2.5 lakhs. Then 1% is of 2.5 lakh, not 50 lakh. See, 1% is not of 50 lakh, 1% is of 2.5. So, इस example में भी थोड़ा change कर लेते हैं. Let's say my liability is 5%. So the tax payable is 5 lakh. ठीक है. And I have paid, let's say 10,000, 15,000, something amount in cash already. Then because I have already discharged more than 1% in cash, so I'm not required to follow the rule 86B in the month of the July. Is it okay to all? थोड़ा सा चेंज किया हमने क्वेश्चन में, बट इज इट ओके टू ऑल? एक बार कंफर्म करना. There are multiple questions is being asked, so we will take up the question, all the question, and you have to give me the answer of my question also. Bhumika, if zero balance in the electronic cash ledger, then if zero balance in the cash, then 1% criteria is applicable. But if the balance available in the cash, then there is no point of looking to the balance available in the cash ledger. The point liability paid. See, the balance available is nothing but you have deposited the amount in cash. That will never be considered. I think, Bhumika, your question is exactly same to the Aisa question. I have already explained. I hope it is clear. Please confirm. Thank you, Aisa. Okay, Aisa ने confirm कर दिया. Bhumika, आपका question exactly same है. भूमिका आपका क्वेश्चन एग्जैक्टली सेम है जो आयशा ने पूछा था, मैंने रिप्लाई कर दिया. Let's move to the Muhammad question. Muhammad is asking, is it necessary to comply 16.2 for availing the ITC under section 18 under C? These are the two different chapters. I can say these are the two different provisions, either section 16 or section 18. You can say it is not possible to comply section 16 subsection 2 in the ITC in case of special circumstances, because it is talking about the condition at that time you were registered person. But in the section 18, there are 4 situations. But you are unregistered person or you are making the supply as exempted. So ideally, 16.2 will not at all applicable. 16.2 will not at all applicable in section 18. So please treat both the separate provision, either 16 or 18. Because the name suggests ITC in case of the special circumstances, it means you are not complying or it is not possible to comply the regular condition, 16 का condition. Is it okay? मुझे कंफर्म करते रहिए, जैसे जैसे क्वेश्चन का आंसर हो रहा है ना, वैसे वैसे एक बार मुझे कंफर्म करते रहिए. भूमिका क्लियर, आयशा क्लियर, कोमल यस सर. सर क्या मेरा मैसेज केसव 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 आ रहा है आपका मैसेज? आप मैसेज तो आ रहा है आपने, बट उसके पहले काफी मैसेज है. कैसे मैसेज आ रहा है आपका, बट काफी मैसेज है, इसलिए आपके मैसेज तक मैं पहुंचा नहीं अभी तक. ठीक है. प्रसाद इज आस्किंग, मोहम्मद एक बार कंफर्म करना, इज इट क्लियर? प्रसाद इज आस्किंग कंपोजिशन लेवी नेक्स्ट चैप्टर रजिस्ट्रेशन वी विल डिस्कस इन डिटेल. ठीक है. भूमिका, इफ आईटीसी ऑफ IS is available by ITC of C is not, criteria would remain same. So if the CGST has the tax liability, you will take the amount from I. S can also take the amount from I. So that everything would remain same, whether you have the balance or not have the balance in the CGST. I hope it is clear, Bhumika. Kindly confirm. ठीक है. अभी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है शुभम का. शुभम कह रहा है डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन ऑन NBFC कैन क्लेम ITC ऑफ ओनली टैक्सेबल और ऑल्सो एग्जेम्प्टेड. ये कैसा क्वेश्चन है शुभम? देख, लेट्स से you are ICICI Bank Delhi and let's say I am ICICI Bank Mumbai. ठीक है. You are making the some supply which are taxable and which are exempted also. Correct. Some taxable, some exempted. Now you have the ITC. ITC would only be if the supply is taxable. So ITC कौन सा आएगा? ITC तो सिर्फ टैक्सेबल ट्रांजेक्शन के ऊपर GST चार्ज होगा ना, उसकी बात हो रही है. So if you are receiving exempt, suppose I am giving certain supply which are exempted, then obviously I will not charge GST. So the supply which I will give to you and which are taxable, then I will charge the GST. So the question is, you have received one invoice from ICICI Bank Mumbai. There are some GST. Do you need to reverse 50% on that amount? That answer is no. You are not required to reverse. I hope it is clear. कैसा वो आपका आंसर तो आ रहा है, पर 2.5 तक अब मैं कोरिलेट नहीं कर पा रहा हूं प्रोबेबली. ठीक है. सर, इफ ITC is not available in ECL and person is under 86, then he will pay. Oh, right, because he does not have the nothing to pay through ITC, so obviously he has to pay full amount in cash laser. अभी सबको समझ में आएगा ना? सारे क्वेश्चन क्लियर हो गए ना? सभी क्वेश्चन क्लियर हो गए ना? मेरा टर्न आएगा, फिर आपको जैसे मैंने आपको जवाब दिया ना, उसी पैटर्न में आपको मेरे क्वेश्चन का जवाब देना पड़ेगा. इज इट ओके? एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर? थैंक यू केसव, थैंक यू. चलो सर, अब हम स्टार्ट करते हैं मेरे प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम्स का, मेरे क्वेश्चन आंसर का. ठीक है, स्टार्ट करते हैं. लेट्स स्टार्ट विद MCQ. First, I will ask 15 or 20 MCQ, approximately 19-20 MCQ. ठीक है. Input tax credit is not available in respect of service on which tax is paid under composition levy, free sample, goods used for personal consumption, or all of the above. Very simple question. You all can give the answer immediately. You all can give the answer immediately. It is a very simple question. मोहम्मद, रीजन इज 180 डेज में RCM इसलिए एक्सक्लूड किया बिकॉज इन केस ऑफ RCM यू आर नॉट पेइंग द टैक्स टू सप्लायर एंड सप्लायर इन टर्न पे द टैक्स टू द गवर्नमेंट. नो, you are directly paying to the government, so they are not trying to create unnecessary burden on the recipient, because he is paying the tax, so he will be able to take ITC. So there is no role of supplier, so they are not creating any reversal requirement of 180 days on the recipient. Sir, please explain apportionment of the credit and block credit. So Prasad, your question is entire section 17. Your question is entire section 17. Kindly watch the video. I will take 2 hours. It will take 2 hours to explain. So I would request, please watch the video. All are correct. All are correct because we know that as per the definition, ITC not available if you are registered under composition. Free sample personal consumption, it is being covered in the block credit 17 subsection 5. So answer is all of the above. In which of the following situation taxpayer need to reverse the credit already taken if the payment is not made to the supplier within 45 days, within 90 days, within 180 days, none of the above? बहुत simple question. I'm asking very simple question. So you all can give the correct answer. हाँ, ये बढ़िया बात है मोहम्मद. सब लोग जो भी बच्चा लोग क्वेश्चन पूछता है ना, कंफर्म कर दो तो बस ठीक है. सिद्धि भोसले, आपने ऑप्शन ए दिया, ये ऐसा क्यों? लास्ट क्वेश्चन का आंसर आपने ए क्यों दिया? इट्स ऑल ऑफ द अबव. आई होप इट इज क्लियर. सिद्धि भोसले, काइंडली कंफर्म. दर्शन, यू आर लेट. पहली बार आपका रिप्लाई आया, ऐसा मत करो भाई. ओके, टू में करेक्ट. अभी तो डिस्कशन किया था, मोहम्मद ने पहले ही क्वेश्चन एंटिसिपेट कर लिया. So the payment is not made within 180 days, then need to reverse the ITC. Absolutely correct. If the goods are received in the lot or installment, 50% ITC can be taken on the first installment, balance 50% on the last installment. ITC can be availed only on the last installment. 100% ITC can be taken on the first installment. Proportionate ITC can be availed on the receipt of each lot. Very important, because sometime I have observed that it is a repetitive point for practical problem. मतलब क्या है, प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम में मैंने ये पॉइंट कई सारे क्वेश्चन में देखा है. कई बार ये जो भी प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम बनते हैं ना, उसमें ये वाला पॉइंट तो बड़ा कॉमन रहता है. सो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन. ओ, दर्शन, कविता, मनीषा, भूमिका, ईशान, विजेता, दीपांशु, खुशी. Now there are two different answers. Why so? So Vijita, whenever you are giving the reply now, so it is requesting all that when you are putting the answer now, please write the question number also. For you are putting the question, you are putting the answer for the question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because some reply are receiving late. तो बेटर है आप हमेशा जब भी आंसर लिखे ना तो क्वेश्चन का नंबर लिख दीजिए. लाइक 3 का बी दे रहे हैं, सी दे रहे हैं, डी दे रहे हैं, ए दे रहे हैं, व्हाटएवर. Now, majority are with B, but some are with D also. Let's read the question. If the goods are received in the lot or installment, then there is a proviso to section 16 subsection 2. There is a proviso to section 16 subsection 2. It says that when you receive the last lot, once a lot, last lot or installment, you can take the ITC on that only. So the answer would be B. Please note, might be this will not be the question of the MCQ in your exam, but you will find this particular question in your practical problem. There might be one line item for practical problem. So that is the reason it is very, very important. Please confirm this is clear to all. सभी लोग मुझे एक बार चैट पर कंफर्म करें कि सर हाँ ये क्वेश्चन मुझे समझ में आ गया. Will you be able to take ITC proportionately? No, not at all. The provision is very clear that when the last lot or installment is being received, then only you can take the ITC. बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, बट फिर भी मैं आप लोगों से कह रहा हूं कि कंफर्म करें कि इट इज क्लियर टू ऑल। ठीक है ना? चलो बच्चा आगे बढ़ते हैं। अभी नेक्स्ट फोर्थ क्वेश्चन, द बैंकिंग कंपनी यूजिंग इनपुट एंड इनपुट सर्विस पार्टली फॉर टैक्सेबल एंड पार्टली फॉर एग्जेम्प्ट, विच ऑफ द स्टेटमेंट इज ट्रू? अगेन ईशांत, आपने पहले ही एंटिसिपेट कर लिया कि मैं कौन सा क्वेश्चन पूछने वाला हूं, इज इट? कैसे मालूम चला आपको? ITC shall be compulsory restricted attributable to the taxable supplies including zero rated. 50% of the eligible ITC shall be mandated taken in a month, rest will be lapsed. Banking company choose to exercise either A or B or none of the above. That's a good question. The banking company using input and input service partly for taxable, partly for exempted. We all have read the discussion. We already had the discussion on 17 subsection 4. What it says, that banking company have two options. Option number one, proportionate concept, which is given in the rule 42-43, or they can reverse 50% of the ITC excluding other than distinct person. So they have to choose either one or two, any option they can choose. So the answer is banking company can choose to exercise either A or B. I hope it is clear. Almost all the participants is given the C only. No. There are certain participants who are having B also. D also. Oh my God. Is there any confusion for the question number 4? If you read the provision of 17 subsection 4, it is giving the option to the banking company, financial institution, NBFC. Sir, what is the option? See, conceptually, any taxpayer, any registered person, if making the two supply, one is taxable and one is exempted, they have to reverse some ITC. For other than banking company, they have only one option, that proportionate reversal, where the formula is being given in rule 42-40, which is in the CA fine. Second point, in case of the banking company, this option is always available, or they can straightforward reverse the 50% ITC. Now the point is, they have the option to choose any one or two. Whatever the thing which is being chosen, it will remain for the entire financial year. So the right answer is C. Any doubt, kindly ask in the group. Any doubt, kindly ask in the group. वैशाली, इसमें क्या होता है सर? जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई वुड ऑलवेज बी कंसिडर्ड एज टैक्सेबल सप्लाईज. Zero rated. What is the zero rated? So two category of the supply are zero rated. One is export or one is supply to the SEZ unit or developer. If you are making the zero rated supplies, then it will always be considered as taxable. No reversal is required. ओके दर्शक, ठीक है. अभी क्लियर हुआ ना? अभी सबको क्लियर हुआ ना? क्योंकि काफी सारे मल्टीपल आंसर आए. सम आर विद ए, सम आर विद बी, सम आर विद सी, सम आर विद डी. वाई? Sania Praveen, the answer is C. All have to confirm that it is clear. If it is not, then please tell me. I will ask. I will repeat once again. No problem. But एक बार मुझे confirm करें quickly कि clear है सर. क्वेश्चन ये clear हो गया हमको. ठीक है ना। चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं। चलो ठीक, आप लोगों ने कंफर्म कर दिया, ग्रेट। नाउ लेट्स मूव टू द अनदर क्वेश्चन। सप्लायर टेक deduction of the depreciation on the GST component of the cost of capital goods as per the income tax. The supplier can avail only 50% of the said component. What is the question? Supplier take the depreciation on the GST. The supplier can avail only 50% of the ITC of the GST, not avail the ITC on the said tax component, avail 100% ITC or only 25%. Again, this will be very important. Multiple time it is being formed part of the practical problem. Multiple time this type of the particular situation is being considered in the practical problem of ITC. So all are clear probably. All are clear. खुशी गुप्ता हैज आस्क्ड द क्वेश्चन, क्या ये बैंकिंग कंपनी के लिए 17(4) बेटा, बैंकिंग कंपनी, फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, एनबीएफसी, इनके लिए। दूसरा, यस, एक फाइनेंशियल ईयर के लिए चूज करना और नेक्स्ट ईयर के लिए आप चाहें तो चेंज कर सकते हैं। सिद्धि, आपका मैसेज अब आया है, प्लीज रिपीट वंस। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा एक बार आप वीडियो देखना, अगर नहीं समझ में आए तो आप मुझसे नेक्स्ट टाइम नेक्स्ट क्लास में पूछ लेना। स्टार्ट ऑफ द क्लास मैं डेफिनेटली रिपीट कर दूंगा अगर वो समझ में ना आए तो, ठीक है। सो ऑल हैव गिवन द आंसर दैट नो आईटीसी, वी हैव डिस्कस्ड विद एग्जांपल आल्सो। लेट मी रिपीट द एग्जांपल वंस अगेन। आई हैव परचेज्ड द मशीन वर्थ ऑफ रुपीज 1 लाख, देयर इज अ जीएसटी ऑफ 18,000, ठीक है। The total invoice value is 1,18,000. You can avail the ITC of 18,000 only when you have taken the depreciation on 1 lakh. If you have taken the depreciation on 118, depreciation under income tax 118, then no ITC. Why no ITC? Logically, it is clear that at one side you are taking the benefit in the GST. At other side, you are taking the benefit in the income tax in the form of depreciation. So double benefit on any single amount is not possible. So they are saying the supplier take the depreciation on the GST component. It means in this particular situation, the supplier recipient, any taxpayer is taking the depreciation on 18,000. So he cannot take the ITC at all. He has to take the depreciation only 1 lakh, only on 1 lakh, then only he can take the ITC. The right answer is option number B. All have given the correct. So let me move to the next question. ITC of the motor vehicle used for allowed. Transportation of goods is allowed, transportation of passenger is allowed, or transportation of imparting the training or driving is allowed, or all of the above. ITC of the motor vehicle, when you can take the ITC of the motor vehicle, if it is being used for the transportation of goods or imparting the training or transportation of passenger or all of the above. खुशी, जीएसटी कंपोनेंट वर्ड का मतलब हुआ कि आपने जो मशीन परचेज की है, जो भी कैपिटल गुड्स परचेज किया, उसके ऊपर जितना जीएसटी पे किया उसके ऊपर भी डेप्रीशिएशन क्लेम किया है। मतलब टैक्सेबल वैल्यू पर तो क्लेम करोगे ही करोगे, लेकिन जीएसटी कंपोनेंट मतलब जितना जीएसटी उसके ऊपर पे किया उसके ऊपर भी आप डेप्रीशिएशन का बेनिफिट ले रहे हो। इज दैट ओके? Again, there are two options. Oh my God. Most of the participants are with right. The right answer is D. All of the above. Why, sir, all of the above? You can go and check in section 17, subsection 5, we have discussed the block credit. In the clause A, we have talked about 13-seater capacity. But there are certain exceptions. What are the exceptions? If the transportation of passenger or imparting the training or driving or further supply, then you can take the ITC. And the transportation of person is only blocked, so the transportation of goods will always be allowed. As per 17.5, these two are specifically covered in the exception, and these are by default in the exception because the block credit is talking about motor vehicle of transportation of person. If it is being used, transportation of goods, ITC will always be allowed. So the right answer is all of the above. Quickly confirm that it is clear. Quickly confirm, bachao, that it is clear. ऑप्शन डी के अलावा जिसने भी मुझे जो ऑप्शन दिया ना, इसका मतलब पढ़ाई ठीक से नहीं कर रहे, पढ़ाई ठीक से नहीं कर रहे। आप लोगों का रिवीजन थोड़ा वीक है, क्योंकि अगर रिवीजन ढंग से किया होता ना, ये चीजें तो हम पढ़ चुके हैं ना बेटा। ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ पैसेंजर मतलब लाइक, सो दोनों वर्ड को साथ में पढ़ो। फर्दर टैक्सेबल सप्लाई ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ पैसेंजर, इट मींस you are taking the amount for transporting the same. You are taking the amount like Ola, Uber. They are collecting the money. So transportation of passenger is a further outward taxable supplies. It means like Ola, Uber. Isan, what is the difference between person or passenger? So normally there is no difference, prima facie, but they like to differentiate. Passenger means it is your outward taxable supply. Person means it's your, it may be you or it may be your employee, which is not the outward taxable supplies. Transportation of passenger मतलब मेरा business है, कैब का मेरा business है. But transportation person, let's say मैंने managing director के लिए कार purchase की, let's say मैं employee के pick and drop के लिए कार use कर रहा हूँ, that is transportation of person. Everything is transportation of person, but passenger means जब आपकी ये transaction business हो, जब आपकी ये supply taxable हो, तब इसको passenger कहते हैं normally. Is it okay? ईशान, आपने पहले भी पूछा था, शायद स्किप हो गया था वो चीज। आगे बढ़ते हैं। क्वेश्चन नंबर 7, मिस्टर ए हैज ए टैक्स इनवॉइस ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर डेट. Its input tax credit is lost if ITC is not availed on or before. What is the last date to take the ITC? This is my question. What is the last date to take the input tax credit? बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया। 30th November और एनुअल रिटर्न विच एवर इज अर्लियर. ठीक है, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. तो राइट आंसर इज डी. लेट मी मूव क्विकली. क्वेश्चन नंबर 8. Input tax credit shall not be available in respect of goods used for personal consumption, membership of the club, travel benefit extended to the employee. The option is only 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 1, 2, 3. Input tax credit shall not be available when? Only in the option number 1, goods used for personal consumption, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, or 1, 2 and 3. The right answer, all of the above. So the right answer is D. All have given the correct answer. Nothing to be discussed because it is being covered in the 17 subsection 5. Which state whether the following statement is correct? Following statement are true or false? Zero rated supply means supply the goods or services which attract nil rate of taxes. So this is important question because it's slightly lengthy. Zero rated supply means which attract nil rate of tax. Exempt supply means supply made to SEZ unit or developer. Non-taxable supply means which are not leviable to tax under the GST but leviable to tax under the IGST. ITC may be availed for making the zero rated supply of exempted goods. Now tell me which are true, which are false. It's a lengthy question. Kindly see carefully and then give me the answer. Whether one is true, false, false, true, false, 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 true, true, false, false. So you all have the option. Now see which is true and which is false. You have to give me A, B, C और D. आपको मुझे इन चार ऑप्शन में एक ऑप्शन बताना. Mohammed has given the right answer. Rest, Darshan, Manisha, Kushi, Bhumika, Priyakant, Dipanshu, no, not correct. Dikshita, again right answer. Ishan, right answer. Kavita, not correct. So Priyakant, Mohammed has given, so I have received the three right answer. Great. Mohammed, Ishan and दीक्षिता, आप तीनों लोगों ने सही जवाब दिया. Appreciation. The rest, all the participant has given the incorrect answer. Next right answer is Miss Krishna Bagodia. What is the right answer? The right answer is, एक बार ट्राई करो वापस, एक बार ट्राई करो वापस. The participant who has not given the right answer, please try once again. Then try to give the correct answer. Try करो एक बार वापस. वैशाली वर्षा प्रसाद, not correct. दीपांशु, correct. दीपांशु का आंसर करेक्ट है. ये पहला क्वेश्चन ही ढंग का आया है. पहला क्वेश्चन ही ढंग का आया ना. अभी तो छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चन आ रहे थे. जहां पे सब लोग इनकरेक्ट आंसर देते हैं ना, वो क्वेश्चन मुझे अच्छा लगता है क्योंकि वहां पे क्लैरिटी की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है. नेक्स्ट, वैशाली बिंदल, राइट आंसर. अभी राइट क्या वो तो हम डिस्कस करेंगे, पहले एक बार ट्राई तो करो, थोड़ा दिमाग और लगाओ. Subham, Siddhi, Kavita. So Kavita is also given the right answer. Kavita is also given the right answer. Rest is still not correct. Darshan, Prashad, Varsha, Chanchal, Subham, Siddhi, Khushi. Komal has given the right answer. Now, let me go to the question again and then see. Zero rated supply means supply etc. nil rate of taxes? No, sir. Why? Because what is the zero rated supplies? We have already discussed. One is export and one is supply to the SEZ unit. Exempt supply means SEZ supply. अभी तो बात किया था. Just now we have discussed SEZ supply will be the zero rated, not the exempted. So this is also not correct. This is also not correct. Non-taxable supply which are not leviable to tax, whether it is CGST, SGST or IGST. Again, it is not correct. Why? Because it says under IGST it is leviable. Not possible now. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption. It is not leviable under CGST, SGST or IGST. Petrol, same. See, non-taxable means not taxable in any of the act. This is also false. And 16 subsection 2 of IGST Act. Not CGST, IGST. It says that even if you are making the export of exempted item, you can take the ITC. So this is only the right. Therefore, the option number A is correct. False, 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 and last is true. Any doubt? Kindly ask. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is A. कृष्णा, मैंने आपको तो कहा था ना राइट है. कृष्णा बागोड़िया, आपका तो राइट है. मैंने कहा था ना, नाम लिया था मैंने. अब क्लियर है या नहीं क्लियर है? क्योंकि ये क्वेश्चन बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग था. सभी मेजर पार्टिसिपेंट आर इनकरेक्ट. अभी मेरे को एक बार कंफर्म करो क्लियर हुआ या नहीं हुआ. क्लियर हुआ ना? यस, फटाफट करो कंफर्म यार. अभी मैं बहुत पढ़ना है यार. वी हैव टू रीड अ लॉट. आगे बढ़े. ठीक है. ऑप्शन डी में चारों फॉल्स है. ये करेक्ट है. अगर आप 16 टू आईजीएसटी का देखोगे ना बेटा मनीषा, तो 16 टू आईजीएसटी का क्या बोलता है कि अगर आप एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं एग्जेम्प्टेड आइटम फिर भी आईटीसी मिल जाएगा. तो इसीलिए लास्ट वाला जो है ना, ये फोर्थ नंबर, ये करेक्ट है. एंड देयरफॉर द डी कैन नॉट बी द ऑप्शन. सो द राइट आंसर इज ए. ठीक है, आगे चलता हूं बेटा. थोड़ा सा कैलकुलेशन है इसमें, ठीक है ना. कैलकुलेट द एलिजिबल आईटीसी. Minibus having the sitting capacity of the 15%, car having the capacity of 8 people for business purpose, for running on hire, car having the sitting capacity of the 4% used for imparting the training, special purpose vehicle having the sitting capacity of 2% for transportation of goods. How much ITC would be available? Then give me the right answer. Please give me the correct answer, that whether it is A, B, C or D. Minibus having the sitting capacity of the 15% used for running on hire, ITC allowed or not. Car having the sitting capacity of the 8 people, ITC allowed or not. Car having the, see, point number 2, question number 2, it's a business purpose. It's a business purpose. Okay. Car having the sitting capacity of the 4% used for imparting the training, and special purpose vehicle having the sitting capacity of only 2%. So these two things are important. The capacity, one is capacity and then use. Both you have to look before giving the answer. Varsha Shetty is asking that please explain question 9. So I will repeat the question. After this question number 10, I will go back to the question 9 to explain. But first, give me the answer to the question number 10. I'll wait only for 1 minute and then move to the correct. Then we'll solve the question number 10 because we are running the short of time. We are running short of time, so we will move to the solution. So you all have given the answer. Some participant has given A, B, C, all are available. All options are available. So let me move to the solution. In this question, a minibus more than 13-seater, ITC allowed, irrespective of any use. Irrespective of any use, ITC allowed. Car having seating capacity to 8 people, and what is the use? Business purpose. ITC not allowed. See, what we are discussing in the 17.5 block credit C, please remember this part. The 17 subsection 5 is starting with non-obstant clause, irrespective of section 16 or 18. मतलब भले वो आपका बिजनेस है, फिर भी मैं ITC नहीं दूंगा, except certain cases like imparting the training or driving the such motor vehicle, further supply of the motor vehicle, transportation of goods motor vehicle, more than 13-seater capacity motor vehicle. In all such cases, you can take the ITC. But if it is less than 13-seater, then even though it is for business, you can't avail the input tax credit. So 15-seater ITC allowed, 15 lakh. Car having the seating capacity but use imparting the training, because of the exception, ITC allowed. Transportation of goods, ITC allowed. 50 plus 60 crore, 10 lakh, 1 crore, 25 lakh. So right answer is C. Any doubt, please ask. Otherwise, I will move to the first question 9. I will explain again and then I will move to the next question. Darshan, if you read the 17 subsection 2, Darshan, if you read the 16 subsection 2, because they are saying so, they have given the permission that if you are exporting the exempted item, because it is export, so government will never try to hit the export. Government kabhi bhi export ko demotivate nahi karna chahte. They will always promote the export. And that is the reason 16 subsection 2 of IGST, they have specifically written this thing. 16 subsection 2 of IGST, उन्होंने ये साफ साफ लिखा, भले वो आइटम एग्जेम्प्टेड है, पर अगर आप एक्सपोर्ट करोगे तो आईटीसी मिल जाएगा. Is it clear to all? Question number 10. पहले क्वेश्चन 10 का कंफर्मेशन दो. Question 10 is clear to all. Question 10 is clear to all. ठीक है. वर्षा, मैं एक बार क्वेश्चन 9 पे जाता हूं जैसा आपने पूछा. देख, क्वेश्चन 9 में क्या था? जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई क्या होता है? द जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई मीन्स एक्सपोर्ट एंड एसईजेड. ठीक है. सो व्हाट इज रिटन? दैट विच अट्रैक्ट nil rate of taxes. It is not correct. Similarly, they are saying exempt supply means export. Again, it is not correct because export is zero rated supply, not the nil rated supply or not the exempt supply. जीरो रेटेड नील रेटेड है? नहीं. क्या एग्जेम्प्टेड एक्सपोर्ट है? नहीं, क्योंकि एक्सपोर्ट तो जीरो रेटेड है. अब तीसरा बोला नॉन टैक्सेबल, मतलब वो सप्लाई जिसके ऊपर टैक्स नहीं लगता अंडर सीजीएसटी, एसजीएसटी, आईजीएसटी. बट यहाँ पे क्या क्या है उन्होंने? लेविएबल टू टैक्स अंडर आईजीएसटी. अगेन इट इज इनकरेक्ट. And last point number 4, I have already explained while giving the reply to Darshan that because there is a specific provision of 16.2 IGST, it says that ITC allowed. So first 3 are incorrect, 4th is correct. So the right answer is A. वर्षा एक बार कंफर्म करना क्लियर है? वर्षा एक बार कंफर्म करना क्लियर है ना? तो मैं अगले क्वेश्चन पर बढ़ सकूं. ITC इज नॉट अवेलेबल. सुशील 17.5 का बेसिक पॉइंट है कि अगर आप बिजनेस के लिए भी यूज कर रहे हो ना, तब भी ITC ब्लॉकेबल. कोई भी, लेट्स से आई एम इंकरिंग द एक्सपेंडिचर फूड एंड बेवरेजेस फॉर माय एम्प्लॉय, आई हैव टेकन द लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ऑफ माय एम्प्लॉय, ITC not allowed, sir, unless and until it is being given in the exception. Unless and until it is being given in the exception. तो इसीलिए रूल 37A given in the statutory update for November 23. मैं एक्सप्लेन कर दूंगा. At the end I will explain rule 37 capital. मैं एक्सप्लेन कर दूंगा. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. मोहम्मद एक बार वापस मुझे याद दिला देना इफ आई फॉरगॉट, बट अदरवाइज मैं आपको रिपीट तो करूंगा. क्या कोई इशू नहीं है, खाली एक बार रिमाइंड करवा देना. मिस्टर रघु अवेल द सर्विस ऑफ मिस्टर राजा, ए चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, एज अंडर ऑडिट, tax audit, income tax return. All of the amount are exclusive of taxes and the rate of the GST are 18%. Accountant of Mr. Raghu has booked the entire expenditure of 70,000 plus GST in the books of accounts. Whether Mr. Raghu is eligible to take the input tax credit. कितना ITC लेगा? Entire expenditure has been booked in the books of accounts. Entire 70,000. Obviously, the GST will be booked in the ITC only. It's not that he has booked the GST part also as an expenditure. No, sir. 70,000 is an expenditure and the ITC, whatever the GST is part, ITC. Whether he would be able to take the ITC of entire 70,000 के ऊपर 18% कितना होता है? 12,612 नहीं. If it is only 55,000, if it is only 10,000, if it is 65,000, how 13,500 arrive at? What is the right answer? All are correct. The B, because it's a personal wife का जो ITR है, that will be the personal expenditure, so ITC would not be allowed. So you can take the ITC of only, he can take the ITC of only this 55 plus 10, total 65,000 multiplied by 18%. So amount comes 11,700. All are correct. TT Private Limited registered in Rajasthan furnished following information for the month of the June. Interstate sale of the goods for rupees 1,25,000 to JJ Enterprises registered in Haryana. Interstate purchase of the goods from XYZ company registered in Punjab. So it's a slightly big question. I request everyone to start working on that and solve the practical problem. The TT Private Limited is registered in Rajasthan. Interstate sale 1,25,000 to JJ Enterprises in Haryana. So it will be the IGST. Rate of the taxes is 18%. All of the above are exclusive tax. So you will also calculate. I will also calculate. It would be IGST. So 1,25,000. It would be IGST, right? So 22,500. एक काम करते हैं ना, एक एक्सेल ओपन करते हैं. So 1,25,000 CGST, SGST and IGST. It's 18%. ठीक है ना, ये बेटर रहेगा सभी के लिए. Interstate purchase of the goods from XYZ registered in Punjab, sales, then I can say ITC. पंजाब से माल परचेस किया, so interstate purchase from XYZ registered in Punjab कितना है 40,000. Intrastate purchase from RR Limited, RR Traders registered in Rajasthan. How much amount? 65,000. So it would be CGST and SGST 9%, right? The GST liability which is to be paid in cash. How much is the ITC? How much is the tax liability? Now tell me, you have the ITC, you have the IGST in front of you. Please tell me how much amount will be paid in cash. It's a very interesting question. It's a very interesting question because it's headwise liability. You can means let me put the working which we had in Excel now. I have pasted here only. Now you all can tell. Now you all can tell that what is the correct answer. अभी आपके सामने वर्किंग भी मैंने यहीं पे पेस्ट कर दी. How much liability to be paid in cash? The right answer is C. Absolutely correct. Why the answer is C? Why the answer is C? Because we know offsetting of the liability. The liability is under IGST. They can use IGST, CGST, and SGST. Everything they can use. Now the balance is short by 3,600. So it means the IGST had, we have to pay IGST 3,600 in cash because the liability is under IGST. Correct? So question number 13. Punjab trader registered in Haryana sold the goods interstate for rupees 2,05,000 to Balram Private Limited registered in Uttar Pradesh. GST is leviable at 5% on the said goods. As per the terms of the contract, Pradeep trader has to deliver the goods at the factory of the Balram. For this purpose, Pradeep had charged the freight of 2,400 from the Balram. GST is leviable at the rate of 12% on the freight. What would be the GST liability to be paid in cash? In this case, assuming that given amount are excluding GST. It is a very simple calculation. You all can solve in the calculator and then give me the answer. क्वेश्चन में मजा आ रहा है ना? आर यू एंजॉयिंग द MCQ? अच्छा लग रहा है ना क्वेश्चन आंसर? सी MCQ का क्वालिटी एंड एवरीथिंग इज ओके, राइट? What is the main point in this question? फ्रेट के ऊपर टैक्स की रेट क्या 12% होगी या 5? What is the main point in this question? Whether GST on the freight will be collected at the rate of 12% or 5%. So this is the main point. If you clear about this point, then your answer would be correct. Kindly give the correct option, correct answer A, B, C. So what is the right answer? We all know that if concept of composite supply, if you have to deliver the goods at the factory of the Balram, it means it is a concept of inclusion of the freight insurance naturally bundled. So it becomes the composite. Whatever the rate applicable on the principal, same rate will be applicable on the ancillary like freight, insurance, etc. So in this case, 10,250, and on the freight also the 5% would be chargeable. So the total would be 10,370. This is the right answer. Any confusion, please ask. All are correct. Great. Very nice. All are correct. So I will move to the next question. Miss Raksha is engaged in providing private coaching services in Noida. So अभी ये काम करते हैं, 10 मिनट का ब्रेक लेते हैं. We'll take the 10 minute का break and we'll resume at 7:30. मनीष जी, एक बार ब्रेक स्टार्ट कर दीजिए 10 मिनट का. मनीष जी, एक बार ब्रेक स्टार्ट कर दीजिए 10 मिनट का, ठीक है? मनीष जी, आप हैं या मेरे को आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी? सो ब्रेक कर दीजिए 10 मिनट का, ठीक है ना? So let's move to question number 14. Miss Rekha is engaged in providing the private coaching service in the Noida, Uttar Pradesh and is not registered under GST till 25th September 2020. Her aggregate turnover is 19 lakh on 30th September. She got registration on 30th September. Which of the following options are available to her? She can pay the tax at the rate of 18%, charge it from customer, avail full ITC on the procurement made. She can pay tax 6% under exemption scheme for service composition scheme. So just wait, because this question is related to the registration. So I'll skip this question. मैं स्किप कर रहा हूं बिकॉज इसमें थोड़ा ना कंपोजिशन और रेगुलर कैटेगरी ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन, मैंडेटरी रजिस्ट्रेशन, इनके बारे में था. थर्टीन के रिगार्ड में डाउट है, हाउ बी. सो बिकॉज सुशील, it is composite supply, so 10,000 2,05,000 10,370 आएगा ना. सी, ये जो 12% है ना, ये सबसे बड़ा कंफ्यूजन है. What people will do, they will do the separate calculation, 5% for the goods and 12% for transportation freight charges. So this is for confusion. I hope it is clear. Question 14 एक बार skip करते हैं, ठीक है. क्वेश्चन नंबर 15 पे आते हैं हम लोग. Comfortable Private Limited is registered in the GST in the state of Odisha. It is engaged in the business of manufacture of iron and steel product. It has received the IT engineer service from Hi-Fi Infotech Private Limited of 11 lakh, excluding the GST. Invoice for service rendered was issued on 5th November. Messrs Comfortable made the part payment of rupees 4,20,000 on 30th November 2020. Being unhappy with the service provided, he has not made the balance payment. Deficiency in the service rendered was made good by Messrs Infotech on 15th Feb, and Comfortable has made the payment of 3 lakh on 15th Feb and balance payment on 6th of June. That is after 180 days from the date of issue of invoice. Input tax credit available in respect of IT engineering services received from Messrs Hi-Fi in the financial year 2021 कितना होगा, ये आपको मुझे बताना है. How much would be the ITC? मैं एक बार बात कर लूंगा, मैंने नोट्स सारे दे दिए. आई चेक विद द टीम एंड अगेन मतलब मैं इंश्योर कर लूंगा कि सारे नोट्स अपलोड हो जाए. कल हमारी क्लास है, राइट? कल मंडे, कल भी हमारी क्लास है. So please tell me the concept that can he take the ITC of entire 11 lakh or not? Can he take the ITC, whatever the amount of the GST is there on entire 11 lakh, or he can take the ITC of 7 lakh, 4 lakh 27, something like that? You have to tell me. Correct. So we can only conclude that he can take the ITC of 4 lakh 20, no problem. He can take the ITC of 3 lakh, no problem. He cannot take the ITC, the part which is being paid after 180 days. He has to reverse that ITC. In nutshell, I can say, so 4 lakh 20 and 3 lakh. This much of the payment is being made. This much of the payment is being made, right? Into 18 divided by 118, amount comes to 1,09,831. Is this clear? That he has to take the ITC, but reverse the net entire ITC कितना मिलेगा इसको? 1,09,831. Is it clear to all? See, he is talking about the payment, means the total payment would be definitely inclusive of taxes. So we have to do the backward calculation. We have to do the backward calculation. Seven lakh 20 divided by 118 multiplied by 18. So answer is 1,09,831. Is it clear to all? So if the amount is inclusive of tax, what we are doing? We will divide by 100 plus tax rate. We will divide 100 plus tax rate now. Then only the amount of the taxable value will come. So 720, I have made the total payment. So it is inclusive of tax, everything right now. So 720 will be inclusive of tax. Then how to calculate the tax? So I will divide by 118 multiplied by 18. Is it clear? ठीक है कविता, I hope it is clear, right? चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now let's move to the certain question, theory question, practical question, not theory question. So small question, ठीक है ना? The first very simple question. From the following information, determine the amount of the ITC credit admissible to the ABC Limited. How much is the ITC available to the ABC Limited? Goods purchased without invoice. Goods purchased from PQR Limited. Full payment is made by ABC to PQR, but tax has not been deposited by PQR. 1,20,000. This is the GST amount. Please note that this is the GST amount. Purchase of the goods not to be used for business, 18,000. Purchase of the goods from TT Limited. Invoice of the TT is received in the month of the September, but the goods were received in the month of October, 24,000. And goods purchase valid invoice from FF Limited. Tax is not deposited by FF. ABC has made the payment to FF for such purchase in the month of October. Try to calculate various input purchased during the month of the September, whether he can take the ITC, cannot take the ITC. So kindly calculate how much is the input tax credit which is admissible to the EBC for the month of September. This is my question. It's very simple question. First is goods purchased without invoice. Then goods purchased from PQR, full payment made by recipient to supplier, but supplier has not made the payment to the government. 120. Purchase of the goods not used for business. Okay. Purchase of the goods from TT Limited. Invoice is received in the month of the September, but goods received in the month of October. Okay. Goods purchased against valid invoice from FF. Tax has been deposited by FF. ABC has made the full payment in the October instead of September. Please calculate and tell me the correct answer. So I'm also calculating. I'm also calculating on calculator. Okay. एज्यूम करना पड़ेगा ना ऐसा बेटा पेमेंट कितना किया 720 इसका मतलब 720 इज इंक्लूसिव ऑफ टैक्स एंड यू हैव टू डू द बैकवर्ड कैलकुलेशंस मैं ऐसा इस बार क्वेश्चन खत्म होगा तो फिर एक बार मैं वापस बता दूंगा आपको ठीक है एक बार वापस बता दूंगा मैं The right answer for this question is if you do not have the invoice, can you take the ITC? No. If the supplier has not paid the taxes to the government, can you take the ITC? 16 subsection 2 clause C, it says no. If it is not for business, can you take the ITC? Again, answer is no. If you have invoice, but goods is being received in the next month, can you take the ITC in the September? No. So the only ITC which you can take, that is 36. Because payment is to be made in the 180 days. He has made the full payment in 1 month. So he would be eligible of 36,000, no problem. Is it okay? Clear है? एक बार confirm करना बेटा. Is it clear to all? Then I will come again to 18,000. Is it clear to all? एक बार 18,000 पे आता हूं. So total value of the goods कितना था? 11 lakh. What is the tax? What is the tax? It is 18%. So do you agree that this much of the amount has to be paid by the recipient to the supplier? आयशा यहां तक तो कंफ्यूजन है ना टोटल अमाउंट कितना पे करना पड़ेगा 12,98,000 इज दैट क्लियर मैं बात कर रहा हूं दर्शन मैं समझ गया मैं सभी का प्रॉब्लम समझ गया एक बार मैं वापस आता हूं उस पॉइंट पर आई थिंक यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस पॉइंट ओनली ना ये वाले पार्ट की बात कर रहे हैं ना जो लास्ट क्वेश्चन किया था 15 नंबर करेक्ट This is the invoice, correct? Tax invoice. It is taxable value. This is the tax and this is the total. बात करते हैं 2 मिनट में इस पॉइंट पर क्यों डाउट हो रहा है और लेट्स से कि क्यों मैंने इसको 18% इंक्लूसिव माना यहां तक तो क्लियर है ना डिलीवरी ऑफ द गुड्स इज नेसेसरी फॉर टेकिंग द आईटीसी। हाँ भूमिका 16(2) का कंडीशन अगर आप रीड कर लोगे, वन कंडीशन इज इनवॉइस होना चाहिए, वन कंडीशन इज दैट यू शुड रिसीव द गुड्स और सर्विसेज। ठीक है। दर्शन एंड आयसा तो मुझे एक बार कंफर्म करना। अब मैं क्या कह रहा हूं, हाउ मच पेमेंट इज बीइंग मेड, ही हैज मेड द पेमेंट ऑफ 7,20,000, so he has to pay 12,90,000, 12,98,000, but how much he has paid? He has paid only 720. So can I say 578 is pending? Can I say the 578 is pending? एक बार कंफर्म करो दर्शन एंड आयसा एंड ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट, प्लीज कंफर्म that can I say this, that 590 or 5 this balance amount is pending, 578 is pending? Can I say? एक बार कंफर्म करना ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट। Correct. So if I can say that this much of the amount is pending, ITC need to be reversed. Can you calculate how much ITC pertain to 578? Can you calculate how much ITC pertain to 720? Because this total is inclusive of tax. Obviously, inclusive of tax ही होगा ना, जितना पेमेंट किया है 720 पे किया है and balance pending है, तो we can say this would be inclusive of tax, and therefore we will divide by 118 to calculate the value, taxable value. And 18% is the tax. So in other word, I can say that he has availed the ITC of 198, but he has to reverse this 88,169. So I can say this is the net ITC which he can avail in the financial year 109,831. ऐसा ये कारण है कि मैं इसको एज्यूम कर रहा हूं इंक्लूसिव, क्योंकि मुझे कितना पे करना है, सी मुझे टोटल 1298 पे करना है, राइट, और मैंने कितना पे किया 720, कितना पे नहीं किया 578. सो द पेमेंट वुड बी इंक्लूसिव ऑफ टैक्स, राइट, जितना पे करना है रिसिपेंट को, दैट ही विल पे द टैक्स आल्सो टू द सप्लायर, ही विल पे द टैक्स आल्सो टू द सप्लायर, इजंट इट? तो हमें क्वेश्चन ने क्या बताया, 720 पे किया है, बैलेंस पेंडिंग है, तो टोटल अमाउंट वुड डेफिनेटली बी इंक्लूसिव ऑफ टैक्स, करेक्ट? तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, इसका टैक्स कंपोनेंट कितना मैंने रिवर्स कैलकुलेशन करते हुए निकाला. इज दैट क्लियर आयसा एंड एवरीवन? ये वाला पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट था. नहीं, यू कांट टेक Mohammed, you can't take 720 is exclusive. He is saying that he has made the payment of 720, balance payment is pending. So the payment, whenever we are making the payment to the supplier, we will make the payment inclusive of tax, and this is the main part of the question. This is the main part of the question. You can never assume that it will be excluding GST. क्लियर हुआ? ओके, मतलब वो वाले पार्ट में थोड़ा सा पॉइंट में प्रॉब्लम था इस क्वेश्चन में, दैट इज ओके, बट अदरवाइज कैलकुलेशन ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट था इस क्वेश्चन में. दर्शन आपका पॉइंट क्लियर है, बट ये वाला पॉइंट मतलब रिवर्स कैलकुलेशन कैसे, क्योंकि ये रीजनिंग क्लियर हुई? आयसा, इज इट क्लियर? प्रिया प्रियकांत घेरवाड़ा, प्रियकांत घेरवाड़ा, आर यू देयर? प्रियकांत घेरवाड़ा, आर यू देयर? You cannot, you can we assume, see, we are assuming including GST now. We have to assume including GST. We have to assume including GST, Aisa. दिस इज अगेन द ट्रिकी पार्ट विच यू माइट सी द मतलब मीन्स की बड़ा प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम आया उसमें एक ही पार्ट रहे कितना पेमेंट किया बैलेंस पेमेंट नहीं किया. So you might, if you calculate 720 multiplied by 18, then your answer would be wrong. So Priyakant, now I am taking your question. You have asked the question at the start. तो अब मैं आपका वाला क्वेश्चन पहले ले रहा हूं. ठीक है, आपने एक प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम मुझे बताई है. लेट मी सी दैट प्रॉब्लम. प्रियकांत का क्वेश्चन ना मैं एक बार कॉपी कर लेता हूं एंड ऑन द स्क्रीन. He has asked the long question. Goods manufactured by the Royal. So Priyakant has asked one question. I have pasted this question and shared the same on the screen. Priyakant, this is the question which you have asked. एक बार कंफर्म करना, मैंने आपके क्वेश्चन को कॉपी पेस्ट किया है. आई थिंक ये सही होगा कॉपी पेस्ट. एक बार कंफर्म करना क्विकली एंड देन आई विल स्टार्ट दिस क्वेश्चन. दिस क्वेश्चन इज बेसिकली ऑन सेक्शन 18. दिस क्वेश्चन इज बेसिकली ऑन सेक्शन 18. ठीक है, स्टार्ट करते हैं. द गुड्स मैन्युफैक्चर्ड बाय द रॉयल लिमिटेड हैव बीन एग्जेम्प्टेड फ्रॉम द जीएसटी फ्रॉम दिस डेट. It means supply which was taxable, now it become exempted. What we need to do? अगर मेरी supply पहले taxable थी, now it is exempted, then I have to reverse my ITC. I have to reverse my ITC ना. Stock lying on the goods, semi-finished goods or finished goods and including capital goods. Capital goods में वो proportionate फंडा आएगा, that we will discuss. ठीक है. Earlier, these goods were liable to be GST at the rate of 12%, 6 CGST, 6 SGST. The input used in the manufacturing were also liable to GST at the rate of 12%. Following information is provided on 30th April. What is the importance of 30th April? Because it is immediately before the goods become exempted. So whatever the ITC lying, whatever the stock lying in the hand, equivalent ITC we need to reverse. Correct? The input costing 112 inclusive of tax are lying in the stock. So we can say, मैं copy paste करता हूं इस particular part को and I will also open the Excel. So input 1,20,000, 1,12,000 is inclusive of tax. How to calculate the tax? We can say the 1,12,000 will be including of 12%. So 112 multiplied by 100. So it become taxable value. I can say 6% CGST and 6% SGST. यहां तक तो क्लियर है. I hope it is clear. There is no question on this particular line. Move further. Input costing 18,640 inclusive of the GST are held in the process. Again, we know that section 18 says that if you have the stock, semi-finished goods or finished goods lying in your hand, you have to reverse the tax component. What is the value? 80,640. So I have done the calculation. I have done 2 line item. Is it clear to all? एक बार confirm करना. Is it clear to all till 2 line item? Is it clear to all? We have done 2 line item. ठीक है ना? Now let's move further. The further it says that finished goods valuing 5,60,000 are in stock. The input cost is 50% of the value. So input cost including GST. So I can say the 5,60,000 multiplied by 50% and which is inclusive of tax, that is the input. So how much would be the taxable value? Divided by 112 multiplied by 100. And what is the GST? This much is the GST. Third point, I have calculated the input cost, that is 280. Because it is inclusive of GST, so I have done the backward calculation and calculated the GST component, ITC component lying in the stock. This part is very, very important. The ITC on the capital goods lying in the stock is 72,000. Now these goods were purchased on 1st August 2021. And the goods were become exempted on 1st May 2022. यही है ना? हाँ. So how many period? 1st August, so August complete, September complete, October complete, November complete, December complete, January, February, March, April. So I can say the total 9 months. Can I say the total 9 months? Total 9 months, the capital goods were used by the taxpayer during the taxable supplies. After that, it become exempted. So we need to reverse. As per rule 40, sub rule 2, what is the reversal component? 5% per quarter. How many quarter? 3 quarter. How many quarter? 3 quarter. So 72,000 multiplied by 5% per quarter multiplied by 3 quarter. We can assume COs, we can assume I. Is it clear till now? I'm just doing the calculation. I'm also not sure what is the right answer, what is the wrong answer. I'm just doing the calculation for the benefit of all. So मैं भी आप ही की तरह calculation कर रहा हूं. So what I can say, it means, sorry, this ITC would be available. So I'll do some other calculation. Sorry, इतना मैंने use किया, balance ITC I need to reverse. It means out of 72,000, I am eligible for 10,800. So the balance amount I need to reverse. So let's say the divided by 2, CGST and SGST. Is it okay or something I have done mistake? I had mistake. I had done certain mistake. Kindly confirm. मैं एक बार वापस देखता हूँ कितने क्वार्टर यूज किया, अगस्त सितंबर अक्टूबर नवंबर दिसंबर, 5 महीने इधर और 4 महीने, 5 और 4 9। सो बेसिकली 3 क्वार्टर मैंने यूज किया, फुल 3 क्वार्टर यूज किया। सो आई हैव रिवर्स 15%, 72,000 का 15%। So 10,800 minus 72,000. So basically, I have to reverse or I have to pay 61200. Correct. And let's check once again. Let's check once again. अभी तक कोई कंफ्यूजन है? प्लीज कंफर्म। इज देयर एनी कंफ्यूजन? प्लीज आस्क। Is there any confusion till now? Please ask. So what we have done, so probably you might have the question on the capital goods, probably. Clear as sir? What is the relevance of 560 in the question? So see, I can say the value of the finished goods would be much higher, but ITC would be, suppose I'm making the finished goods, so there would be certain ITC on input only, correct? Or there may be some input service, or there may be capital goods. So if I'm talking about the finished goods and they are saying that 50% constitute input, so basically the relevance of the 560 is only to calculate the ITC component. क्या पूरे 560 पर ITC है? क्या इसके ऊपर इनपुट है? तो इनपुट का रेशियो हमें दे दिया, तो 560 क्या कंप्लीट फिनिश गुड्स के ऊपर ITC था? नहीं, इसने कहा कि 50% इनपुट है और इनपुट के ऊपर आपकी GST है। मैं कैपिटल गुड्स पर आता हूं, पहले एक बार इसका पहले 560 की बात कर लेते हैं। एक बार वापस 560 पर आते हैं। लेट्स से क्या क्वेश्चन था? $560 में क्या था? द फिनिश गुड्स वैल्यूइंग 560 ऑन स्टॉक। सो नाउ दे आर सेइंग इनपुट कॉस्ट इज 50% ऑफ द वैल्यू। अगर कुछ भी नहीं होता तो ये क्या कहता कि फिनिश गुड्स विच इज इंक्लूसिव ऑफ टैक्स। बट चूंकि अगर मैं फिनिश गुड्स बना रहा हूं तो फिनिश गुड्स तो मैंने परचेज, बिकॉज आई एम द मैन्युफैक्चरर। सी पॉइंट टू बी नोटेड, आई एम द मैन्युफैक्चरर। So I cannot say the entire 560 is my ITC. Entire cannot be the ITC because I'm not doing the trading. So I have converted into the process. So the ITC would be on input, or there may be some other transaction. So for this 560, they are saying the input cost is 50%, on which there is a GST. बिकॉज मैं परचेज तो रॉ मटेरियल करूंगा ना, बाकी तो प्रोसेस में कन्वर्ट होकर फिनिश गुड्स बन जाएगा। तो एंटायर 560 पर तो आईटीसी नहीं होगा। आईटीसी किस पर होगा? इसके रॉ मटेरियल पर होगा। तो इसका रॉ मटेरियल का कॉस्ट तो मैं बता दिया 50%। सो दिस इज द रिलेवेंस। आई होप इट इज क्लियर। ऐसा मुझे मालूम नहीं है, मुझे तो ये अपने पार्टिसिपेंट प्रियकांत ने एक क्वेश्चन पेस्ट किया, उसी को मैं सॉल्व कर रहा हूं। आई हैव नॉट सीन वेदर इट इज अवेलेबल और नॉट अवेलेबल इन द स्टडी मटेरियल। मुझे नहीं मालूम इसका सोर्स क्या है। अगर प्रियकांत, इफ यू कैन से वेयर दिस क्वेश्चन इज अवेलेबल, सो इट इज यूजफुल फॉर ऑल। बट मैं अपलोड कर दूंगा। आई विल अपलोड दिस क्वेश्चन इन द मतलब रिकॉर्डिंग, तो आई विल गिव टू द इंस्टीट्यूट एंड दे विल अपलोड इन द रिकॉर्डिंग और इन योर लॉगिन। अभी यहां तक क्लियर है क्या किसी को? अभी कैपिटल गुड्स का पॉइंट मैं क्लियर कर रहा हूं, बट ये वाला पॉइंट क्लियर है ना? ठीक है। वैशाली, आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा था फिनिश गुड्स का, एंड दर्शन इज सेइंग अंडरस्टूड। ठीक है, तो अब एक बार हम ना कैपिटल गुड्स वाले पॉइंट पर जाते हैं। देखो, कैपिटल गुड्स में आईटीसी कितना लिया? 72,000 लिया। 1 अगस्त को हमने कैपिटल गुड्स परचेस किया और यूज कितने महीने किया? 9 मंथ यूज किया। ठीक है, सो बेसिकली आई कैन से 3 क्वार्टर। आपको एग्जाम में हमेशा क्या यूज करना है? रूल 40 सब रूल 2 यूज करना है और 5% पर क्वार्टर यूज करना है। आपको मैं अभी एक वर्किंग नोट में एक आपको डिस्क्लेमर लिखा दूंगा, द पर्टिकुलर वर्किंग नोट विच यू विल ऐड ऑलवेज इन द एग्जाम। बट जब आप कैलकुलेशन करेंगे यू विल ऑलवेज डू द कैलकुलेशन 5% पर क्वार्टर, एडवाइजेबल। अब 3 क्वार्टर, इफ आई हैव यूज्ड फॉर 3 क्वार्टर, इट मींस 5% per quarter. So the total use is 15%. Am I right? So 72,000 का 15% कितना हुआ? I can say 10,800. The balance part is 61,200 which I need to reverse. Is that clear? पहले इसको कंफर्म करते हैं. 61,200 is the part which you need to reverse. डिस्क्लेमर क्या लिखना है? ये वर्किंग नोट में हमेशा एक पॉइंट लिखना आपको रूल 44 का, दैट आई विल। एक क्वेश्चन बैंक में था, अच्छा ऐसा है क्या? क्वेश्चन बैंक, ओके फाइन फाइन, नो प्रॉब्लम। सो अभी मैंने क्या समझा, लेट मी रिपीट वंस अगेन, लेट मी रिपीट वंस अगेन, दैट एक मिनट दीजिएगा मुझे। इन दिस क्वेश्चन द 72,000 is the in this question 72,000 is the total ITC on the capital goods, and we know that as per the rule 40 sub rule 2, 5% per quarter is the eligible component. So I have used for 3 quarters, so basically I can say, so the total use is 15%. So I can say the 85% need to be reversed. 85% need to be reversed. So let me calculate again. यहां पर कितना आया था need to be reversed? 12,000. Here the amount comes, एक बार चेक कर लेता हूं कितना आया था, टोटलिटी में बात कर लेते हैं लोग, ठीक है ना। Here we are saying 8640. How 8640 was calculated? 80,640 divided by 1112 multiplied by 12. And 560 के ऊपर कितना था? 280 हमने माना, और 280 का कितना? मल्टीप्लाइड बाई 12 डिवाइडेड बाई 112. तो यहां पर कितना आया था अमाउंट? हियर द अमाउंट वाज 30,000 एंड हियर द अमाउंट वाज 85%. कितना आया था? 72,000 का 85%, 61,200. So if you add all these, 12,000, 8640, 30,000 and 61,000, कितना आता है? एक बार कैलकुलेट कर लेता हूं. 61,200 प्लस 12,000. So the total amount of reversal will come 1,11,840. This is the total reversal amount. Is that okay? यहां तक क्लियर है? यहां तक क्लियर है ना? So in this case, they are saying the balance in the electronic credit ledger is 1,52,000. So you have to reverse this 1,11,800. And balance 150, 1,11,840. What will be the balance amount? It will be the lapse. The balance amount would lapse. Recall the provision of section 18. अब एक बार आप काम करना, section 18 में जाना, section 18 में जाना, and you can recall that this much of the amount you need to pay. If there is any excess balance, the balance amount would lapse. बढ़िया क्वेश्चन आपने दिया. पार्टिसिपेंट जिन्होंने भी मेरे को क्वेश्चन दिया, आई थिंक प्रियकांत, वेरी नाइस क्वेश्चन. आई होप hope it is. अगर कोई तो kindly meanwhile let me open the study material and I have to read the section 18 subsection 4 for the benefit of all. Mohammed, are you there? Mr. Mohammed, are you there? So this is 18 subsection 4, where any registered person who has availed the ITC opt to pay the tax under section 10, that he has switched over to the composition, or where the goods or services become exempted, then he shall pay an amount equal to the debit in the electronic credit ledger or cash ledger equivalent to the credit of input, semi-finished or finished goods or capital goods reduced by such percentage as the case may be on the date of exemption. Now, this was very important. They are saying after payment of the such amount, if the balance of the input tax credit lying in the credit ledger, if there is any excess balance, then it will be lapse. From my side, this question is completed. Over to you for asking any question. But really, that was a very good question, I can say. $41.60 would be of no use, so it will be lapse. 40 होगा या कम होगा? I think the differential amount is, I think, lesser. 41.60 क्या? ठीक है, ठीक है. जो भी आप calculation कर लेना. The balance amount would lapse. The balance amount, if the ECL is 1 lakh, then they have to pay 11,000, whatever the amount, 11,800 something we have calculated, 840. So total amount which we have calculated 111,111,840. If he has the balance of 1 lakh, then he has to pay 11,840 by cash ledger. Why he has to pay? Again, go back to the 18 subsection 4. He shall pay by way of the debit in electronic credit or cash. In the second portion, the balance is only 1 lakh. How much he has to pay? 111,840. So whatever the shortage is there, he has to pay from cash ledger. Is it okay? Statutory update relating to this chapter. हाँ, मैं अभी discuss करता हूँ ना. Sure, I will update. I will discuss this part also. Statutory update. So now let me move to the statutory update part for the ITC chapter. So this part we have already discussed, that 16 subsection 2 clause AA was inserted. Read with rule 36.4 that now you can take the ITC only when it is appearing in the GSTR 2B. The point number 1 I have discussed. Please confirm this is okay. One by one एक बार discuss कर लेते हैं. Certain point if it is not touched, we will discuss in detail. Point number 1 already discussed. I hope it is okay, right? Let's move further. Now, from 1st October 22, the clause BA was inserted. Clause BA was inserted. I have already discussed that to stipulate another new condition. It provides that ITC in respect of the supply of the goods or services is available if the details of the ITC is not restricted Correct. So we have discussed comparatively more detail in the 16 subsection 2 itself. So I'm moving to the point number 2. Time limit of ITC by the registered person is extended 30th November or furnishing of annual return, whichever is earlier. Correct. This we have discussed in the 16.4, and also we have covered one practical MCQ. We have discussed in MCQ also. ठीक है, ये वाला भी कवर है. So that was a very old amendment. That was a very old amendment. So what was the amendment? If you read the language of the 16.4 earlier, they were talking about relating to such debit note. ये word था relating to such debit note. एक बार 16.4 की मैं लैंग्वेज ओपन करता हूं ताकि हम लोग ना अच्छे से कंपेयर कर पाए. हाँ चलो, यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है. पहले क्या था, डाउट ये अराइज होता था कि वी विल कंसिडर द डेट ऑफ द डेबिट नोट और द डेट ऑफ अंडरलाइंग इनवॉइस फॉर विच डेबिट नोट हैज बीन इशूड. So they have clarified, they have omitted this particular thing relating to such debit note, and they are saying the date of the debit note would itself be considered instead of date of underlying invoice. What happened? Let's say there was an invoice of 1780 of rupees 1 lakh. I'm giving you the example. And let's say in 21, 22 or 22, 23, there was one mistake happen in the invoice. It was identified in the financial year 22-23. So they have raised the debit note for the differential. It should be 1,50,000, but he has raised the debit. He has raised the invoice of only 1 lakh. Now he is raising the debit note of 50,000 plus GST. The question kya tha? Whether customer can take the ITC of this debit note or not. Whether question is clear. पहले मुझे confirm करें question clear है या नहीं. They were saying that if you raise the original invoice and after some time you consider that there was a mistake and for which you are raising the debit note, increase in the liability, can customer take the ITC or not? Can customer take the ITC or not? In the 16.4, there was word prior to 1/1/2021. इस डेट के पहले एक वर्डिंग थी relating to such. This word was creating the problem. Prima facie, by this word, it appears that for identifying the last day to take the ITC on the debit note, you should go to the original invoice. And finally, the word has been omitted, and they are saying the date of the debit note would itself be the date of the document for taking the ITC. If you raised in the 22-23, you can take the ITC till 30th November 2023 or annual return, whichever is earlier. ठीक है, चलो सर आगे बढ़ते हैं. Then ITC not blocked in case of the leasing. Yeah, that point was clarified. Leasing other than leasing of the motor vehicle, vessel and aircraft. If you refer the 17.5, they were saying leasing, renting or hiring of motor vehicle, vessel and aircraft referred to in section 17.5 clause A and the clause AB. The point it was picked by the CBIC that whether leasing, all type of the leasing are blocked, only motor vehicle is blocked. See, they are saying, oh, the word only leasing is written. So let's say I have taken the furniture on lease. Let's say I have taken the computer on lease. Whether ITC can be availed or it is blocked. They have clarified by the circular 172, leasing only with respect to the motor vehicle is blocked, but subject to the exception given in the respective clauses. Not all type of the lease are blocked. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Then this point I have clarified that ये वाला point था leasing, renting, hiring, whether it is leasing of all leasing or only with respect to motor vehicle. So they have clarified leasing with respect to motor vehicle. We are talking about in the exception blocking, not all. Okay. The next point which they have discussed in this particular, you remember that we have discussed that if it is means compulsion by law on the employer to provide the employee, then ITC would be available. हमने डिस्कस किया था ना, if it is a compulsion by law, then ITC would be available. The problem of that provision, there was a proviso, but the proviso where it was written, that was the problem. Where it was written? It was written after clause 3 in the various state. What they are taking that this proviso, the compulsion of law, was applicable only those travel benefit. So it means they were saying if the travel benefit is compulsory by law, you can take the ITC. It means they were also interpreting that this proviso, compulsion by law for employer to employee, it is not for the subclause 1. So meaning thereby, if as per the Factories Act, it is compulsion on the factory to provide the food and beverages to the worker, ITC, even if it is compulsion but not available. What was the logic? They were giving the logic that the proviso is after clause 3. So therefore, this proviso is only applicable, only exclusion is only for the third clause. Finally, they have clarified by the circular, and the circular saying that proviso applies to the entire 17 subsection 5 clause B. It is not limited to the subclause 3. It is applicable for clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, all the clauses, all the subclauses. ठीक है, यहां तक क्लियर है ना? कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लीजिए. यहां तक क्लियर है? कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लीजिए. आई एम गिविंग यू 1 minute. These part we have already discussed. ठीक है, अभी है ना, मैं डायरेक्टली पॉइंट 9 पर आता हूं. ये पॉइंट हमने कवर नहीं किया. दिस पॉइंट वी हैव नॉट कवर्ड. व्हाट इज दिस? ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. Supplier has issued the invoice to the recipient. Let's say amount is 1 lakh and tax is 18,000. Recipient will pay to the supplier and supplier will pay to the government. Supplier will pay to the government. So the total 1,18,000. Currently, we have discussed rule 37. What is the rule 37? If the recipient not make the payment to the supplier, recipient to supplier within 180 days, then he has to reverse the ITC along with interest. This part we have discussed. Correct. What is the rule 37A? Rule 37A is for this land. If the supplier does not make the payment to the government, if the supplier does not make the payment to the government within how many days? After the end of the financial year till September. If the supplier not made the payment to the government after the end of the financial year till September, 30th September, then recipient has to reverse the ITC till 30th November without interest. After 30th November with interest. मैं आपको सिर्फ शॉर्ट में बता रहा हूं. You can read in detail. Everything would be clarified. If still you have the doubt, we are open to discuss anything in the next class. What is the rule 37? See, rule 37 is applicable from recipient to supplier, but 37A is being inserted now from supplier to government. If the supplier does not make the payment to the government after the end of the financial year till 30th September, then ITC need to be reversed by the recipient till 30th November, no interest. After November, with interest. Clear hua? Is it clear? Rule 37A is clear to all. What is the use of the GSTR 3B? Because whatever the reversal, etc. will be made, we will use GSTR 3B. There is a format. Table 4B is there in the GSTR 3B, which we are using for the reversal of ITC. And second, from the supplier point of view, because he will pay the tax through GSTR 3B. He will pay the tax through GSTR 3B. So that is the reason, that is the use of the GSTR 3B. Correct, na? So he will report the outward supply in the one, but 3B he will pay the taxes. So this is the use of the 3B. If he has not furnished the 3B, suppose, then it means he has not paid the taxes. He has to pay by 30th September. If not, then ITC need to be reversed by the recipient. Is that okay? एक बार कंफर्म करो यार सब लोग, क्योंकि यही पॉइंट था जो हमने डिस्कस नहीं किया था, बट अगेन इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये एग्जाम में आ सकता है. वो विल रिसिपिएंट सी इंटरेस्ट. देखो इस केस में इंटरेस्ट दो बार दोनों पर लगेगा. सप्लायर को पे करना, सप्लायर ने तो पे ही नहीं किया, ठीक है. Whenever supplier will pay, he has to pay the interest. But अभी जो इंटरेस्ट की बात हो रही है वो रिसिपिएंट की हो रही है, बिकॉज उसने आईटीसी लिया है. करेंटली वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द रिसिपिएंट. आईटीसी उसे रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा ना. टिल 30th नवंबर कर देगा तो कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं देना पड़ेगा. अगर 30th नवंबर की बात करता है तो इंटरेस्ट देना पड़ेगा. And this ITC which is being reversed can be availed again, can be re-availed at any time in the future when the supplier pay the taxes to the government. जो ये recipient ने ITC reverse किया है, this point is exactly similar to what we have discussed in the rule 37. रिवर्सल के ऊपर ITC जो रिवर्स किया उसको कभी भी रिक्लेम किया जा सकता है. रूल 37 में हमने पढ़ा whenever recipient make the payment to the supplier. रूल 37A में हमने क्या पढ़ा? When the supplier make the payment to the government, this reversed ITC can be reclaimed by the recipient at any point of time in future. Is it okay? If the supplier not paid to the outward, then no question of receiving ITC. Then how? See, अभी क्या है वर्षा? I do agree. अभी क्या है? See, point है. So, विद इंटरेस्ट का कभी भी नहीं मिलता. इंटरेस्ट कभी भी रिक्लेम नहीं कर सकते. ओनली यू कैन अवेल द आईटीसी. वर्षा, as of now there is a problem in the portal. As of now there is a problem in the portal because whether supplier paid the taxes or not paid the taxes, no communication to the recipient. अभी communication नहीं है recipient को. So 16(2)(c आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. You are absolutely correct. See, now the question is very interesting. 16 subsection 2 clause C versus rule 37A. Very interesting point which has been raised by the Versa. 16(2)(c say if the supplier not make the payment to the government, supplier to government अगर पे नहीं किया तो ITC नहीं मिलेगा. बट इसका कम्युनिकेशन मालूम ही नहीं चलता. Correct. Point number 1. As of now, you are not able to understand. Now I am talking about the practically. I am not talking about academic or I am not talking about theoretically. As of now, the GST portal does not give the any corresponding communication. So now what they have bring? They have bring this rule 37A. Why they have bring this rule 37A? So to start implication of reversal. Probably they will start that if the supplier does not make the payment till September, then need to reverse the ITC till 30th November. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? थोड़ा सा relaxation दे रहे हैं. Government are giving certain relaxation to the recipient that you can take the ITC but you have to check in future. If it is not paid ultimately by September, then you have to reverse. ये पॉइंट क्लियर हुआ या नहीं? वर्षा, बहुत बढ़िया क्वेश्चन पूछा था आपने, बट ये क्लियर हुआ या नहीं हुआ? सभी से पूछ रहा हूं, ये बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट है. 16(2)C वर्सेस 37A. वेरी नाइस. इंटरलिंकिंग बहुत बढ़िया किया आपने, बहुत ही बढ़िया किया. सो इज इट ओके? So they like to bring now with some relaxation. In time to come, they will remove the relaxation probably. सही होगा, ऐसा लग रहा है. मतलब क्लियर ना? Everyone are requested to confirm this rule 37A, 16(2)C का comparison, and everything is clear to all. So from my side, this amendment is if payment is made between September to November. So अगेन सी सितंबर मतलब क्या है, देखो लॉजिक का समझो. एक बार रिवर्स कर भी देगा 30 नवंबर तक का रिवर्स करना है, ठीक है, वो रीअवेल कर सकता है. सो इफेक्टिवली इट कैन बी सेड दैट ही कैन रिवर्स एंड रीक्लेम आल्सो. It means at the time of the liability to check ITC paid by the supplier or not come to the recipient. It means at the time of the liability. It means at that time liability to check ITC paid by the supplier or not comes to the recipient. Obviously, because ITC has been claimed by the recipient ना. ITC किसने क्लेम किया कविता? कविता ITC तो recipient ने क्लेम किया, तो responsibility recipient की है. वो responsibility कब है? ITC लेने के टाइम. अभी तो ऐसा ही लग रहा था कि see, listen last point very carefully. That because of 16(2)C, it was the responsibility prior to taking the ITC. See, what is the rule 37A? I can say comparatively relief to the taxpayer, to the recipient. How? See, 16(2)C, if I am taking the ITC, I have to check all the condition of 16(2). Right now, मुझे सारी कंडीशन चेक करनी पड़ेगी 16(2) की. मेरे पास टैक्स इनवॉइस होना चाहिए, मेरे पास गुड्स आ जाना चाहिए, सप्लाई ने टैक्स पे कर दिया, मतलब 16(2)C you have to check prior to taking the ITC. But what happened after rule 37A? I can take the ITC even without checking whether supplier has paid the taxes or not. कब तक? 30 September तक. I can avail till 30th September, and at that point of time I will check whether supplier has paid or not. If not, then reverse and reclaim. Reversal till 30th November will not attract interest. इंटरेस्ट रिसिपिएंट की बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग यहां पर. Who is reversing the ITC? He has to pay the interest. Rule 37A says that no interest till 30th November. After that, need to pay along with interest. Vaishali, interest होगा by the recipient when he is reversing after 30th November. Is that okay? Mr. Mohammed, if you are there, this point has been asked by you also, rule 37A. So I have clarified. Any other question? From my side, it's done. 2 minutes wait karte hain. If you have any question, please confirm. Please raise your question. Otherwise, I will conclude the class. Got it. Got it. Okay. Vaishali clear hai? Vaishali Bindal, is it clear? ईशान, आपका भी क्लियर है पॉइंट? हाँ, ऐसा एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. योर स्टेटमेंट इज एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. न्यू चैप्टर टुमारो. यस, नया चैप्टर हम टुमारो स्टार्ट करेंगे. रजिस्ट्रेशन, एवरीथिंग इज की. थैंक यू वेरी मच. विल मीट टुमारो एंड स्टार्ट द न्यू चैप्टर. अगर फिर भी कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप एक बार रेज कर देना. विल ट्राई टू रिजॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन आइदर ड्यूरिंग द क्लास और इन सब्सिक्वेंटली. ठीक है. थैंक यू वेरी मच. गुड नाइट टू ऑल ऑफ यू. Sir, in both 16(2)(c) and 37, the question remains same. How will the recipient be aware? अभी develop हो रहा system. Manisha, the system would be developed. Rest to be sure, the system would be developed. It appeared that by 30th September they will develop some system. Bhumika, if not reversing till 30th September, known interest. Otherwise, interest after 30th November. रिवर्सल के लिए भूमिका टाइम 30 नवंबर है. सितंबर तक टैक्स पे करना है सप्लायर को. अगर नहीं किया तो रिवर्स करना है. रिवर्स इमीडिएटली नहीं करना, उसके लिए भी 2 महीने का टाइम दे दिया. Mohammed, recipient need to pay the interest just because supplier not furnished the GSTR3B. Rather, I should say, he has taken the ITC. He has taken the ITC, which ideally he cannot avail because of 16(2)(c. Mohammed, question में बहुत दम है आपके. Question बहुत important है. Let me put in another way. That I being a recipient, I have taken the ITC, which ideally not eligible according to 16(2)(c. Government has given the relaxation till November. बट अगर नवंबर तक मैंने रिवर्स नहीं किया तो मुझे इंटरेस्ट पे इसलिए करना पड़ रहा है बिकॉज के कारण वो एलिजिबल आईटीसी नहीं थी. इज दैट ओके? आई थिंक इफ देयर इज आरसीएम फॉर एवरी सप्लाई. नहीं शुभम, बहुत दिक्कत हो जाएगी. इट विल बी टफ. इज दैट ओके मोहम्मद? एक बार कंफर्म करें. भूमिका, मनीषा, मोहम्मद एंड शुभम. is interest applicable from 30th September? In that case वो क्लैरिटी नहीं है. 30 नवंबर से एप्लीकेबल होगा, 30 सितंबर से एप्लीकेबल होगा या डेट ऑफ आईटीसी से एप्लीकेबल होगा, वो क्लियर नहीं है. मेरे हिसाब से 15 सबसेक्शन 3 के अकॉर्डिंग इंटरेस्ट एप्लीकेबल होगा, विच वी विल डिस्कस इन द पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स क्लास. इंटरेस्ट का पोर्शन पेंडिंग है, विच वी विल डिस्कस इन द पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स. ठीक है, बट मेरे हिसाब से यहाँ पे 50 सबसेक्शन 3 एप्लीकेबल होगा. अकॉर्डिंगली इंटरेस्ट वुड बी लिमिटेड. द पीरियड ऑफ इंटरेस्ट नॉट येट क्लैरिफाइड, बट अभी क्या लग रहा है, 2-3 कंफ्यूजन है. विल इट बी फ्रॉम 30th September? Will it be from 30th November? Will it be from date of ITC? Or will it be according to 50 subsection 3? 3-4 permutation combination है. We will discuss in the last class. That is payment of tax class. ठीक है. Thank you very much. Good night to all of you. बाकी जो भी क्वेश्चन है we will take up in the next class. And Manish ji, you can wind up the session. Thank you. मनीष जी, आप क्लास को कंप्लीट कर सकते हैं. मेरी तरफ से कंप्लीट हो चुकी है. ओवर.